Now, when people talk about the environmental benefits of planting trees, they would often tell you that trees can reduce the temperature of the ground and they can reduce the amount of CO2 and increase the amount of O2 in the surrounding atmosphere. But those are far from the only benefits that they can provide. A point that's often being overlooked or underrated is that trees can reduce the noise level in general, so they can help combat the noise pollution in urban areas and suburbs. So how can they do so? First of all, when a sound wave hits a hard, smooth surface like a block wall, then most of the sound energy will be reflected back to the environment. Yeah, and only a small amount of it would be absorbed and converted to thermal energy. So when the sound wave hits a soft and prosperous surface like a piece of foam, then the large majority of it would be absorbed and converted to thermal energy. And only a small amount of it would be reflected, so soft and prosperous objects are ideal for reducing the noise level in general. So, what types of trees are naturally good for doing so? Namely trees that has a rough bark, flexible branches, and small but tightly packed leaves, or any other features that allows them to have a bigger surface area per volume ratio. That means things like palm trees, yuccas, and cacti are the poorest for doing so, because of their small surface area per volume ratio. They are good for protecting you from storms or strong winds, but they are not good for reducing noise levels at all. On the other hand, trees in the cypress family are ideal for doing so, because of their small leaves that are tightly packed to each other, and most of them have got soft and prosperous bark. Now, this family of trees is native to various parts of the world. They are native to both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. They are very diverse, and there are over 27 different genres and around 140 species in total. It also has a relatively long fossil history. They can come in many different shapes and sizes, and almost all of them are evergreen trees, except for the Chinese metasequoia and the bold cypress. So how can people use them to do so? Is that they can be planted alongside streets and railways and planted closely located to each other, forming a wall or screen-like barrier. Without a doubt, this can be really time-consuming to grow, but it can drastically reduce the noise level and protect the locals from noise-related problems in the long run. So, is this being done in real life? Yes, without a doubt. In the regions around the Mediterranean Sea, tall, narrow cypress trees were being planted alongside busy roads. So they were chosen not because they can provide shade, it's because they are good for insulating sound. And in many other parts of the world, various types of trees were chosen to do so. It's because, except for the trees in the cypress family, plants like the eucalyptus, the willow, the trees in the pine family, the casuarinas, podocarpus, and yews are also suitable choices for insulating sounds. In terms of deciduous trees, trees that shed their leaves seasonally, they are not really good for doing so. Yes, they would still be totally okay for insulating sounds in the warm seasons, but they are going to be a lot less effective in the cold seasons because of their lack of leaves. And if you want to maximize the noise insulation properties of the trees you planted, try to grow a bunch of vines and lianas around them. They are usually not parasitic and they just grow by leaning and climbing on the trees, where they would usually have a bigger surface area than the trees or shrubs that they are growing on. And when most people saw vines and lianas, they would think of tropical or subtropical regions, but there are actually some more cold-resistant species that can grow in temperate climates as well, where this is being practiced in certain parts of the world. And except for trees, vines and lianas can also grow on walls of buildings. Now, as you can see, growing trees in populated areas has got many environmental benefits. We've just discussed that they can help combat noise pollution in the long run, and they can also help reduce the temperature on the ground and help reduce the amount of air pollutant in the air. On the other hand, fighting global warming, as most people were taught, is not really one of the things that they can do, because in order to have significant change in the climate, you have to grow evergreen forest at least the size of Greenland, where that is really impractical and difficult to do for various reasons. Oh, it's time for a little bit of bonus fact, is that fully matured cypress trees can also be home to many animals, like spiders and seabirds. Yeah, many different species of spiders prefer to nest in these dense evergreen trees because they can protect them from the extreme heat, extreme cold, or sometimes predators. But they cannot stop the spiders from catching their favorite prey item, the small insects that flies. Now, on the other hand, seabirds like ospreys, storks, and ibises all love to nest on top of those trees, especially on top of bold cypresses that grows on temperate swamplands, because those birds love to prey on things like fish, snakes, and amphibians that live in the swamps. And those trees can also protect them from their land-based predators like crocodiles and wolves. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the previous video, then please feel free to like and share it.